Yeah, that cactus is dead as That is the deadest cactus that has ever not lived.
Oh, you kill a cactus. They're like
you told me
I
that
overwatered
story.
it. I overwatered it, and then they were.
I remember this.
And I was like, "Why is my cacti swollen?" And I poked it, and it fucking popped. I've never seen a cactus pop like this one's like they're deflated. They're literally deflated.
I do remember you talking about this before.
Yeah, they're deflated. That's getting moldy. I didn't know cactuses could mold. All right, well, this needs to leave immediately. Sorry, Norman.
Hello, welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, The Force Awakens. Ben just waved. He waved.
You said hello, so I waved.
This week, The Force Awakens.
Does it really?
I barely awakened for this movie because I watched it really late at night. Because I almost forgot that I had to watch the movie this week for today, which is a Thursday. It's usually like Tuesday and Wednesday, if I'm getting editing done, it's one of those days. Thursday, I watch the movie, but I don't watch the movie the day that I record because I know that's a recipe for disaster for me specifically.
I haven't had to do that since I moved.
I'm very happy for you because you used to stress yourself out that way.
Well, it's also because half the time I'd start the movie and just like fucking either fall asleep or get so unbelievably I'd usually either fall asleep or get interrupted and have to drop the movie, so I'd have to watch it in 2 sittings most of the time. Which fortunately and unfortunately, I haven't been able to do much lately.
I mean, we did argue last week about who would get up to get a glass of water just because we didn't want to be in the same room as the movie, so. Otherwise, Ben, how was your watch?
My watch sucked, but I'm feeling great today.
It's fair.
That's fair.
It didn't suck. True neutral. I was just there.
True neutral.
You disassociated, like.
Only for about half of it.
That's fair.
I came back towards the end. I was like, okay, we're blowing stuff up. My monkey brain is satisfied.
My monkey brain is satisfied.
Chris, how was your watch?
It was fine. I pre-fatherhood Chris really, thinking this podcast was a good idea, really fucked current day Chris.
I was
on the time available to watch Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised.
No, it's fine. It's still very easily doable. It's just I had a very set routine previously, like very regimented. I was up at 5:30 every fucking morning, like on the dot, and I just had hours in the morning where I could just watch Star Wars if I needed to. Now, I'm still up at 5:30 in the morning sometimes, but after being up at 3 and 1 and midnight.
Jeez.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. There's still plenty of time. We got to shake it up around here, and we're just watching reruns of 90 sitcoms. So every once in a while you got to break that up with a Star Wars movie.
But how was your watch, Jay?
It was this movie is not long in terms of runtime. But at times in terms of pacing, since there's nothing new to me, it's long.
Yeah.
I don't know why this movie
fair.
feels like such a fucking slog, but it is. And the podcast slightly helped me, slightly didn't. I missed last week. I'll do that next rotation. I made a note to make sure that I do that.
Oh, because you were over at my house when we were watching Return.
Yeah. That was like a sudden thing, so I didn't get the chance to even think about it until we were 20 minutes into the movie. But this time I listened, and I can say with 1,000% certainty that is the episode we have talked the least about Star Wars ever in the history of the podcast. We barely talked about anything happening on screen except during the Rathtar scene and the first part of the Kylo Ray duel, which is the Kylo Finn part.
I mean, it really just illustrates where our interest in Star Wars fucking drops off.
Yeah.
No, Here's the thing. I spent so much time with The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker episodes. I know we talk mostly all episode about those. This movie, nah.
Well, that was probably just complaining. I feel like this movie, of the sequels, we have our issues with The Last Jedi. We have our issues with Rise of Skywalker. I feel like this is the most just nothing movie to us. Like,
it's the most like inoffensive
we're
one.
very neutral. Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing I talk about every single time we talk about this movie. Like this one, there was a promise of more with this movie. You know, this movie had it was in an okay direction that I could get on board with.
This movie is a regular Hershey bar. It is the regular Hershey bar of Star Wars movies. Yeah, I'll have it if it's sitting around, but I won't go out and just buy one. If I go out and buy one, I'll get it with almonds or something else. But I don't. It's not. I guess inoffensive is fine.
It's kind of just meh and like inoffensive is just because it is a retread. Like
the least A New Hopey parts of this movie is the first 30 minutes. And it's a great first 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, like we've called this basically A New Hope, a faster and more intense edition of A New Hope.
Faster and more
but it's I mean it really just is A New Hope but done grimdark. I mean it's grimdark A New Hope. Instead of having a whole planet blown up, like people dying off screen, we open this movie by just showing people getting murdered, and we have edgy Kylo Ren. Yeah, we have edgy Darth Vader.
That's my big note from this watch. This movie would be the same exact movie with very little alterations if you just take the super weapon part of Starkiller Base out. Like, the only things that plot point serves in terms of the plot itself is getting the Alliance on Finn's side.
Well, getting the Alliance on Finn's side and getting them to the base so Han can get murdered by his child. But you could literally send them there for any other reason, you know? Like, you could have had them successfully just, you know, get the the map to Luke Skywalker, you know, and then they have to go get that back, you know. You could.
I also feel like it's there to kind of just like establish some kind of stakes.
Yeah, but the stakes in this movie are not like, it didn't add stakes. The stakes in this movie, the thing that this movie does well is get you attached to the characters. You're already attached to the characters. The super weapon does nothing to add stakes because my brain just turns. I couldn't tell you. I've watched this movie 11 times in the last 2.5 years. I couldn't tell you thing one about that trench run. I couldn't tell you thing fucking one about that trench run.
The prequels are the only Star Wars movie that don't feature some form of a Death Star.
Yeah. Well, no, they technically do. They have like
they have
chasis of.
Yeah, they have the blueprint and the like fucking skeleton of it at the very end of episode 3.
But it's not.
They don't have any
plot point necessarily, you know, like.
That's all just like. Setup's the wrong word because the payoff already existed before the setup, but it's setup.
You know, I watched these movies enough that this is a really stupid question. Is there a Death Star in Empire?
No. What?
No.
Yeah, that is a really strange question.
That is a really stupid.
Absolutely.
Well, no, but I just said that. Nobody batted an eye. No, there's not a Death Star in Empire.
No,
okay, so my first statement is wrong then. The prequels and Empire are the only Star Wars movies to not feature a Death Star in some shape or form.
And Last Jedi.
Last Jedi's got the.
Yeah, but we don't count that because we don't count
battering
that.
ram.
It's an offhand
on a technicality.
Some form of a Death Star. It's got
on a
Death
technicality. The point is granted to Chris.
I begrudge this technicality. I begrudge this technicality.
If they cut the line where
but there it is.
If they cut the line where Finn says it's miniaturized Death Star tech, then you'd have a point. But they have that stupid fucking line in there.
The stakes were already same thing with this movie. The stakes were already established. You caring about the characters were the stakes. What does blowing up 17 planets that we never knew accomplish other than lens flares?
Lens flares. What do you look? I've heard J.J. Abrams is a relatively like friendly guy, easy to work with. You know, everyone has great things to say about J.J. Abrams. I feel like that would change if someone told him not to put a lens flare in. I feel like he would go into a rage. He would like throw an intern.
Mortal enemy at that point. Like just
I think
turns around and punches a PA.
There was a segment of the fan base that complained and complained and complained about the idea of lens flares when he got cast to do a Star War. And I feel he was pretty controlled in this movie in terms of lens flares. There's like a couple when the planets get blown up, and there's like one at the beginning, and that's it.
I was gonna say in general.
Yes, we are.
In general, no. Comparatively to the rest of his stuff, definitely.
Yes. But he just went goddamn fucking nuts in Rise.
Well, that's the thing.
It's just lens flare.
Well, because at that point he was panicking and he was like, how do I save this movie? Lens flare, of course, lens flare. Most brilliant piece of filmmaking technique.
Yeah, he needed to go like far into his comfort zone
I really think that what Rise of Skywalker was he was given like a ransom letter that was like 50 pages long, and it's like, this is what we want, and then he was like, okay, I'll try to do something with this. And that's not me just like forgiving him for Rise of Skywalker. I just really think the amount of studio overhead that happened in that movie is very, very high compared to these other two.
I'm rewatching Community again. There's a great episode of Community where Abed is trying to connect all their pasts, and you know his whole thing is he's super into pop culture and thinks it's a TV show at all times. Very meta, very good. But he's in that scene kicked out of a movie theater and banned because he's telling people not to go watch Phantom Menace, and he's like complaining about Phantom Menace. And I was watching an episode and I'm laughing, and I was also like, man, I know they're talking about trying to do a Community movie. They have been for years. All I need is Abed's thoughts on the Star Wars sequels. I feel like we were robbed of that by Community no longer being on the air.
Yeah.
What's with all the Phantom Menace hate, though?
Oh, shut
up.
I don't understand. It's a masterpiece.
Shut up.
It's a quote out bed. Midichlorians, Ben. Midichlorians.
Okay, I'll grant you that.
Am I capable of kicking Ben out of the call before he says what he's waiting to say? Is that within my capabilities?
What are you afraid? What's the fear here, Jay? This is a welcome space.
No, it's not fear. It's spite.
Open space.
It's not fear. It's spite.
We should feel free and open to talk about whatever it is we feel like discussing. That's all I'm saying.
I've just received a message from Major Merchandise.
Oh no.
He has arrived on Planet
They're back.
Walmart. He has arrived on Planet Walmart. This is a very small note, so I'm going to assume, just speeding past whatever was about to happen, that it's a small thing.
Like a pod racer.
Shut the fuck up, I swear to God.
That one's your fault, Jay. That one's on you. This blood is on your hands.
I do not accept the blood on my hands.
I do.
I got us out of that segment with work. You disgust me.
I disgust me too. It's all right. We'll all get through this together.
No, we won't, because you're the one that's actively doing this to me.
We'll get through this together because we're stuck in this fucking Warlock pact forever.
We don't got anywhere else to go.
It's a smaller Major Merchandise.
So would you say it's lesser merchandise and not major?
Minor merchandise.
I feel like if I referred to Major Merchandise as lesser merchandise, even for a bit, I'd end up back in Hellcourt. And don't get me wrong, I feel like I have enough evidence against Major Merchandise to have a strong case, but I prefer not to do it.
I don't know. I think we're walking on eggshells here. I mean, I doubt they'll take us back to Hellcourt.
That's contradictory comments. Like, walking on eggshells mean we have to be really, really careful.
No, I'm saying I think we are walking on eggshells when we don't need to be.
I don't know. All I know is that he threw something at my head.
Oh
It's-
boy!
Yeah, we shouldn't be walking on eggshells, says the one person on this podcast who hasn't been assaulted by major merchandise.
It's true. It's true, Ben. You have not been assaulted by major merchandise. He likes to throw shit at us.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. I've never been personally accosted by major merchandise in the
Is
streets.
major merchandise paying you under the table or something? What's going on, Ben?
Yeah, what's going on? Are you on the uptake?
I don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me?
Now, I'm hoping that maybe someone else could make sense of this. And if they can, I will take back my complaints about this piece of merch.
I feel like I've just been presented with a legitimate puzzle.
Okay, inspired by vintage Star Wars. Why does it look like the old Kenner action figures?
This
I think those are the old Kenner action
Those
figures.
are the old Kenner action figures, yeah.
this shirt looks like it came out of Saints Row the Third. Or this hoodie looks like
Yeah.
that's the kind of design it has. And Darth Vader appears to be wearing for lack of a better term, a pimp robe. So what are we looking at?
Now,
It looks
What's
chic. I'm
trying-
not gonna lie. It looks a little chic.
So we're looking at a Vader's Security Services hoodie.
Which, that's the thing that I don't understand. What the fuck is a Vader security force?
Yeah, like, what does that mean? Like, is Vader doing... How shit does the Emperor of the whole galaxy pay that Vader's got to work a shit security job on
Is
the side?
this Downtime Darth when we said that he gave his resignation and then he went to start his own security service?
He started his own security company?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I feel
God.
like this feels like someone who's never seen a Star Wars movie was just
It
presented with this image
Yeah.
and was like,
Yeah.
make a hoodie. They're like, okay, security dudes. I don't know.
I used to work in the security field. Darth Vader would be, he's comparable to a lot of the bosses I've had in the past, I imagine. They're about the same.
A
Also,
glowing review.
This Darth Vader action figure. I need to his belt is where he's like fucking Steve Urkel right now. His belt
Yeah.
is like up to his ribs.
Those pants are pulled pretty tight up, and there's a lot of like fray around their crotch area that if it was not an action figure would be showing off a lot, because that's not metal bits anymore.
Vader is packing.
Yeah.
Vader
In that pimp robe. So this is the Star Wars Vader Security Services pullover hoodie. Inspired by vintage Star Wars action figures, this pullover hoodie features the Dark Lord himself along with his minions, advertising themselves as Vader Security Services, who boast the slogan, "Never Underestimated." Darth Vader is front and center on this fleece top that will ensure you stay on the warm side. It's screen art featuring vintage action figures of Darth Vader and stormtroopers. It's got a kangaroo pocket. It's a lined hood with a drawstring tie, ribbed cuffs, so on.
It's got like a little speech line coming from Vader that says it is useless to resist. And I don't think the person who made the shirt knows what security services are.
Is it like this is giving off Big Dog the Bounty Hunter vibes?
Also, it's like one of the old Kenner figures, so like the cape doesn't connect at the neck; it goes over each arm.
Like I said, it's a pimp robe.
I can confirm that is one of the old Kenner figures.
Yeah. But he looks like he's wearing like a shaft leather trench coat. It doesn't even look like he's wearing like a cape.
Well, here's a question. Would anybody under the age of 50 buy this? Like, if you were not directed to it by me searching newest, would anybody know what the fuck they were looking at if
I hope
they saw
not.
this?
I hope not.
I also hope not.
Because I knew it had to be the original choice because I saw it. But how do you market this? Who is this
Counter
for?
question. Would anybody over the age of 50 buy this?
Would anyone buy this?
It's in like neon ass colors. Like, what the hell? Who made this? Who thought this was a good idea?
This does seem like something we would do, though.
Don't bring
Wait,
us down to
come on.
that level, Jay.
We have a better
we're
sense
not
of
at
humor.
all.
We have
This is a-
such a high quality control bar we have to reach.
Look, this is a really bad show, but we're better than that.
I don't know if we are. We once did like a 5-minute bit where Palpatine couldn't stop pissing. Except it was lightning. It was innuendo that he couldn't stop pissing.
See, that was intelligent
Your
comedy.
point?
It's good commentary. It's just good commentary.
That's just good comedy. What do you?
Oh, kill me. So I do kind of want to follow up on this idea that Vader just suddenly retired and became like a security service guy.
Security officer?
Just retired and became a security contractor. He's just like, yep, I've spent a lot of time just out there murdering people. Now I'm gonna sit in this gatehouse outside of a Home Depot.
Before we get too far away from this, I need to. Kenner doesn't know how capes work.
I mean,
No, they
you're
don't.
talking about 1970s, like.
But like in
action
the
figures,
70s, we
nothing
knew what
looked good.
capes were.
Yeah, but the molds on 1970s action figures were still not really figured out at that time. So it was just the wild fucking west.
Because the Kenner Princess Leia figure has the same kind of fucking cape where it's like a poncho that just doesn't cover your front half.
I begrudge the fact that I have to look up more Kenner action figures now, but continue.
No, that's the whole thing. Because like they just capes aren't a thing
I
for
appreciate
Everyone
that.
knows.
Kenner figure line.
I appreciate that none of them look uniform at all, which is, that's pretty usual for, 70s action figures.
For
but
the
still.
time.
Wow, can we talk about that Chewbacca though?
Yeah. The smoothest legs this side of fucking
What's
Coruscant.
what's the name of the boss in Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Oh, the Great Mighty Pooh.
Yeah, that's what Chewbacca looks like. What is going on with Leia?
Like,
Wait a minute, hold on.
Okay, thank you. I'm not the only one who sees
Yeah,
this.
something's going on with Leia.
Is that where Ryan Johnson got the idea for the high collar in Last Jedi? Have we unlocked something here?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Is that it? That could be it. That legitimately might be where the idea comes from.
I'm an action figure collector. Like, I don't have any of that fucking nostalgia shit though. Like, Hasbro constantly is re-releasing like, oh, retro. Here's like these retro Marvel things, and they're still like, it's the full design. Like, the arms move like this, the legs move like this. They look like shit. It's like, who's
Up
buying?
and down for
Why?
the audience.
Yeah, it's like, who wants this? I don't have that nostalgia bone. I don't know.
Well,
Like, these Kenner figures are hilarious.
yeah.
Oh, they're fucking great.
And Hasbro
In the
is still
worst way.
pumping these out in like a retro style and like, hey, give us $20 for this.
I mean, I feel like we're not allowed to talk about what is nostalgic or not. We got sad last rotation when we no longer had the 20th Century Fox intro. We're not the right people to make this
It was
argument.
just because it was fun to do the intro
For us,
every
not
episode.
for people to listen to.
I don't
for
think
us.
that's a comment on whether we could be nostalgic though.
That's
I'm
just
not
us missing
saying
on a
whether we can or can't be nostalgic. I'm just saying we find weird things nostalgic, and I'm sure people who grew up in the 70s also find weird things that are nostalgic.
I mean, I don't find it nostalgic. I'm not sad they're not in the movies anymore generally. I was just sad I didn't get to do the dumb opening every time we watched the fucking
I
movie.
was just sad I didn't get to make stupid noises.
Yeah.
Well, when I recut the movies a while back, I did put the 20th Century Fox intro into Force Awakens, so I think I'm specifically not allowed to make a comment.
Oh, what the fuck were we talking about?
We're not allowed to talk.
Surprisingly,
Oh,
Star Wars.
surprisingly,
Star
we were
Wars.
actually talking about Star Wars: The Force Awakens a
Dar-
decent amount.
Darth
were?
Vader's security force though.
Oh,
Yeah,
Christ.
but can we just a little bit? Just give me a little bit of riff.
Yeah, well, fuck it, let's do it.
So Downtime Darth has a season where it's just Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, oh no.
I've never watched Dog the Bounty Hunter except in small spurts, so I know that it's basically just citizen arrests that are criminally
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah.
There were episodes of that show where like they were like, all right, this guy jumped bail, you know, he was in jail for marijuana possession, but he's a runner. And then they're pulling fucking beanbag like rifles out of the fucking back of the car, and they're like, he might run. So if he runs,
Jesus
just shoot him with this.
Christ.
I just remember all of the episodes being very uncomfortable when I would walk through the room and see them just like, oh, that seems like assault. That's no longer like.
When I got my security license, I had to be fingerprinted. It was like a whole process. I was like I had to go through like classes and training and stuff. Usually most instructors and stuff I had took it pretty seriously, and if you tried to fuck around, they'd like give you shit. Dog the Bounty Hunter walks around with a blonde mullet, ridiculous sunglasses, open collar. How does anybody in his chosen field take him seriously?
I don't think some TV execs saw him and didn't take him seriously, and that's how everything happened. I'm just saying, like, here's what I envision now. There's an episode in one of the later seasons where Vader gives his, 2 weeks notice, and he says, and Palpatine is like, what do you mean? What are you leaving my services for? What would you do? He's like, I believe I would run a very good security service. I would be a very good private security and perhaps a little bit of stopping suspects or people switching out on bail and such. And Palpatine just laughs. It's like, Vader, I can't put an Imperial officer under you without you snapping their neck within 3 days. What makes you think you can do this? What makes you think that you could possibly have this job? And then the rest of the episode is him trying to prove him wrong and then accidentally killing people over and over again.
I don't know why.
You realize your greatest weakness is a taser.
I can't get the image of Magnum PI, but with Darth Vader out of my head for some reason. He's just got like a Hawaiian shirt on over the suit.
I don't know if I can do that. But I can give you a nice Darth Vader's helmet on Magnum PI.
For some reason you said Hawaiian shirt, and I just thought of the one fucking guy from Jurassic Park, the like bigger guy who's like the bad guy. I don't know why. That's whenever I hear Hawaiian shirt, my mind immediately goes to him.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. Well, we were on topic for a good while.
Well, I had to derail somehow.
I mean, we had, the audience had to know it was going to go off the rails at some point. We were on topic
I think
for far too long.
I was going to say, I think we behaved more than usual today, so.
Kylo Ren.
Is
such a little bitch in this movie.
Like,
He's such a
man-child.
whiny bitch. Like, how was he ever supposed to be? Like, I think they were trying to do a little bit of the, obviously he could go either way on, like, he's evil or not, but, like, he just comes off like the biggest bitch in the galaxy.
I believe that a story is typically, I'm not saying all the time, but typically as good as its villain. And Kylo Ren, I feel like they were trying very hard to make a flawed character, but they just went way too far of just being like, look, he has problems, and we're like, okay, we get it. Like
the thing that consistently fails the character of Kylo Ren is their inability to keep his scenes serious in between plot.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally just the emo Sith. I mean, most Sith, you see, they go fully into that anger emotion. Like, he's just the Sith. He's just a Sith because he can't control his emotions normally. He's just sad all the time. Like, he's just And then that goes into like a rage. But even his rage sucks. I mean, he's just like
I mean,
he's seriously just emo Darth Vader.
he's a white boy. I mean,
The sequels have the MCU problem, and we've talked about this many times
Yeah.
before, of just trying to stuff comedy. He's this movie's comedy bitch, which
Yeah.
goes totally against building him up as this. There is a way to build this character as unhinged and emotional without him seeming like just like a 16-year-old emo kid. There's a way to do what they were trying to do without it coming off as like someone you can't take seriously. They just couldn't do it because they also had the overhead of let's do some comedy here.
Well, and I also feel like if they like okay, so Rey escapes the chair,
Mhm.
takes off, Kylo comes in, discovers the chair is empty.
Yeah.
If they did like a shorter outburst instead of this long, like 3-minute drawn out hissy fit,
Or if
It would have been so
stormtroopers
much better.
didn't, if it didn't cut
Yeah.
to stormtroopers. That's not the only time that happens in this movie either.
like if you just see some like if you hear some lightsaber shit, see the chair get like hurled into the hallway, and you see stormtroopers like, oh fuck, and run away, like that gives off a much better vibe than just, oh no,
And
let's turn around and walk away.
they don't do these comedy bits with Kylo in the following movies either. It's just this movie. This is the only time they do it, but it's also the movie that builds up his character. I take him 1,000 times more seriously in Last Jedi and even parts of Rise of Skywalker than I do here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he has two really creepy scenes in this movie, and I take him seriously within those, but he also has little baby hissy fits, like, right after both. And they're not scary, they're just...
Yeah, I mean, this movie is not Kylo's finest work. I mean, I think Last Jedi is
Yeah.
the only time that Kylo is treated the way he should be, like
Right.
he's like fully all in on the evil train. And then even the little bit with Snoke where you're thinking like, oh, he's turning, back to the light or whatever. No, it just proves that he's become a true Sith at that point. He's the backstabbing and the conniving against his master. He's Last Jedi handles Kylo very well.
Say what you want about The Last Jedi, but Kylo and Rey are handled very well. Nobody else is handled well.
Nobody else is.
I would contend
That's
that
how
Luke's
much
kind
energy
of
it took
well.
to put.
Yeah. I would contend that Luke's kind of handled well, but I know that's a contentious topic on this in general, but also kind of on the pod.
I think Luke is handled better than a lot of people give him credit for in that movie, but I still wouldn't go as far to say he was handled well.
I would contend that he's handled well, but it was always going to be a controversial take.
Yeah.
Like, it was always going to be that. So, it's all up to the eye of the beholder if you prefer what they did with that or what they're doing with Luke and other media now. That's always going to be someone else. That's always going to be up for debate.
It's weird, and it feels like they've undercut what they want to do with Luke now by doing all this stuff after these movies came out, because like, all right, well, now we're seeing Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, but I know I sat there during, spoilers for Book of Boba Fett, one of the many episodes that I think featured no Boba Fett.
I believe this is the one that I recounted without saying it live on air.
Like, I'm looking at Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, man, you just sucked. Ultimately, you fucking sucked. Like this is fine, this is cool, but ultimately, like, it's okay.
When you started the sentence and when you ended the sentence, I thought I was going to do two completely different things, so I'll try to cover both. When you started the sentence, I was going to say what they're trying to do with him in there is a love letter apology to try to wash away all the bad feelings of Last Jedi, because they're still trying to do that for some reason. and they want everybody to like their Disney Plus content because that's what they're going to make for Star Wars, period, for a long time. And at the same time, they're trying very hard with that because, like all Disney products at this point, they're so desperate to keep onto the fans that they have that they're actually driving away the fans that they have. Hi, this is my NCU begrudgment that's sneaking into here. And then at the end of your comment, I feel like I have to give them more credit than that because I can kind of see, even without seeing some of these shows, where they're going with this. And I think they're looking to build a satisfying conclusion that makes Luke seem like the Jedi Master that he doesn't appear to be in the current canon. I don't know specifically when, but like in Ahsoka or in any of these other shows, when all these threads that they're trying to build come together. Like I don't believe the Grogu is done with the Jedi no matter what shit. I don't believe that for a second. I think that story is meant for Luke to learn there's another way to train Jedi. I think that's literally what that plot point is there.
I don't think there's any way they could
entirely.
do that.
No.
Because
Luke said the thing. Yes, he said the thing, and he's like, you can never come back. I don't believe they're going to follow through on that.
well, no, but like
When we see him in the sequels, he's so married to the Jedi Order, though, and like what they had. I mean, the sacred Jedi texts.
he's not though. He's like ready to. He's thrown in the towel already. Like
Literally,
at
in
this
the
point,
Last
he's thrown in
Jedi,
the
he's
towel, but
talking about how in the Last Jedi, he's talking about how shit the old Jedi were.
Yeah, but I think he got there post fall of his temple. I don't think we're gonna get. Besides the fact that, given what just came out with that like Vanity Fair article or whatever with Kathleen Kennedy talking, I'm pretty sure that's the last time we're seeing Luke. The way she talked about like, oh, I don't want to touch George Lucas's stuff anymore. We're gonna do our own stuff. I don't think we're seeing Luke anymore. At least not for a very long time.
also, I definitely can't see them trying to get Grogu back into the Jedi Order because, well, the sequels. They're not gonna kill Grogu with Kylo Ren's uprising, and it's gonna get old if he's always coming and going.
I can spoil how Mandalorian ends for you series-wise if you'd like, because I already know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we want to do this. I don't know because if I predict this, people are gonna be mad at me. I think.
Prediction spoilers for the Mandalorian. Skip ahead 5 minutes.
Grogu's gonna get the Darksaber, and he's gonna be the ruler of Mandalore.
Oh, probably. And it's not even gonna happen on the show. It's gonna happen in some it's gonna be like the end of Rebels, where there's these drawings of the future on the walls, and there's a little Grogu there leading the Mandalorians, that kind of shit. That's what that's gonna be. Absolutely.
No, I think it'll be on the show because I think
I don't think you can do that.
Even ending.
Even with Rebels. Even with the Rebels ending, we're getting payoff for that soon with the Ahsoka show.
I don't think that you can do just straight up showing that, Chris, because you legitimately can't do it with any characters that we know unless you're just going to show a picture of a fully grown Grogu and then just a bunch of Mandalorians and helmets at the end. You can't follow that to a conclusion because it's going to be so long after the sequels happen to show that payoff.
Having watched The Mandalorian this whole time, the overarching theme is Din fighting with how he was raised in this cult of Mandalorians, of what a Mandalorian is supposed to be, and him being a foundling. I think by the end of this, Din is going to die, and Grogu will be the Mandalorian of the title, and he'll be the, ruler of Mandalore, carrier of the Darksaber.
I totally agree with you. I just think that we're not going to physically see Grogu as the Mandalore because no matter which way you cut it, Grogu is not going to be an adult fast enough to show off that payoff. I think it's just going to allude to it, and that'll be it.
Well, I think it's going to be a few seasons from now or whenever, they're going to do the Thrawn miniseries event or whatever. And
he's 50 and he's still a toddler.
Yeah.
So you can't, it's going to be...
they'll probably give us a fast forward and we'll just see
after the sequels.
I mean, maybe, who knows?
Because that's the only way you do it, and I don't think they're touching that shit.
I mean, well, wait.
those characters are also so far removed from the sequels. I don't think it matters what time period it takes place in.
Maybe.
I was gonna say,
May-
they
They're
I'll-
not going to cross over with any of that stuff, you know? It's going to be
I'll-
all
I'll let
Thrawn
you-
stuff, and all of the Thrawn involved stuff at this point might as well be an AU because it has no overlap with, like, none of the
Yeah.
future stuff's going to have any overlap with the sequels, obviously.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
avoiding the sequels like the plague anymore.
Yeah. Here is my belief system, because I have seen more of these shows than you think I have, because every time I open the YouTube, there's like spoilers, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch that just so I have more context. I really think it's just going to become the MCU of EU content. I think that's the direction it's going in. So I don't know how you do that and reconcile it with a sequel era at all, but I don't know.
I feel like they aren't gonna plan on wrapping up something like The Mandalorian anytime soon.
No, it's going to,
Yeah.
this will be 10 years from now.
Yeah,
that this
they're gonna-
happens, but
They're gonna milk
Maybe-
these series for all they're worth.
Hey, MCU, could you maybe learn from Star Wars' fucking format? Because, God, I'm sick of this already. I'm so sick of this.
What, like the live action television?
I'm so... If
spin-offs?
I
Or-
see a 6-episode event again anytime soon, if I see that fucking thing pop up, I swear to God,
What
I'll feel
thing?
like shooting myself in the head.
Wait, I
Every time
legit
they
like
do-
lost where we
every
are.
time they do an MCU show,
Okay.
it pops up during the trailer like a 6-episode event, because they don't want to commit to an actual season, and they don't want to
what they're
commit.
doing with Obi-Wan.
That's a Star Wars thing. Oh yeah, they are doing that with Star
I know,
Wars.
that's what I'm saying. They are doing that. What are you talking? Like, you're praising Star Wars for not doing it. They literally are doing it currently.
I'll give them a pass on that, because I imagine getting Ewan McGregor to do a TV show is quite expensive.
Also, just like how
And Boba Fett's that way too, though.
also like just how big of a sandbox they actually have to play in with, like, okay, Obi-Wan's stuck on a desert planet
That
for
would be-
like 10 years.
that's-
no.
Like,
That's
I
the
don't
one
even
Disney Plus
blame-
show that would be really hard to make 12 episodes out of.
I don't
Exactly.
even blame Disney for it. It's the way we consume content as a society now, like with streaming and everything. Because Marvel made 2 Disney Plus series that were 10 episodes, and people bitched that it was too long. So then they went to 8 and then 6.
Mm-mm.
I don't blame Disney for it. I blame people thinking 10 episodes
fans.
is too long for a fucking TV show now.
Nah, I don't.
Because there was
I won't-
overwhelmingly negative response. Oh, this should have been 2 episodes less. You know, this should have been this. You know.
I mean, also I feel like there's a difference between like the Star Wars content output and the MCU content output, because
There's two distinct
MCU is
different.
saturated.
Yeah, I
At
don't,
least from my perspective as like an
No,
outsider looking in,
1,000%.
because I don't really
A
consume
million
MCU content, but
Yeah.
it feels like
They're
it's just
shitting out.
everywhere.
Hi, this is my MCU hatred. I'm tired. They are shitting out MCU content so fucking fast that they do not want to accept how it affects the rest of their own original fucking OC world anymore. It's it's actively working against their own fucking.
I know
vision.
even before Black Panther, I know like me and other people were like, okay, we need to like cool it with the movies because they're coming out so frequently, and I love
That
Black
was-
Panther. I'm not trying to shit on Black Panther. Great movie, fantastic movie, but like, okay,
That was them rushing to Infinity War in the 2010s.
Yeah,
That was them rushing.
you're right.
I also just like I don't. My wife and I just went back and rewatched Supernatural recently.
Mhm.
It took fucking forever because they were 22 episodes a fucking season,
Well,
and
you won't
half
hear-
of them were fucking fillers. I'm at the point where I don't care if it's a 4-episode series and they get the story they need to get done. That's all I want. I don't need filler shit. I don't need a bottle episode.
I appreciate what you're trying to say. I have not seen one of these Disney Plus shows that were 6 episodes long that felt like they managed to tell the story they were trying to tell. Not.
I was gonna make that argument with Moon Knight, but I think they told the story they wanted to
I
tell, and
haven't-
it was
I've-
just.
I was
a
about-
bad
I was
story.
about-
I'm still
to ask-
I'm still 2 episodes behind on Moon Knight, so
I
I
was about
can't.
to ask how long Moon Knight was.
It's six.
Six
All of them are
episodes.
6 episodes, Ben. You can
Okay.
make the blanket
Okay, they're
assumption.
all okay.
No,
When I see
WandaVision and
Daredevil as
Falcon Winter
6
Soldier were 10.
when I see Daredevil a 6 episode event, I swear to God, like it's become a meme now.
I think Hawkeye was 8.
No, it was 6. Because I remember very specifically because I was angry at how fast they had to wrap it up. Because that show desperately could have used another 2 episodes. Desperately.
No, I think you're right. I think it was 6.
Like that show would have been 1,000 times better with 2 more episodes. But anyway, Star Wars. All I was trying to say was that I really genuinely believe that they're going to try to do the Thrawn trilogy, except it's a crossover event on Disney Plus, and they're going to try to do like all of these big EU events retold.
100%.
Um,
Thrawn's gonna be our first big Star Wars event, like
Yeah.
Avengers was the first like
6
Marvel
episode
crossover event, whatever. I think Marvel's gonna move away from that pretty soon. I'm hoping Star Wars kind of does too, because like I got to imagine this Echo series. Well, no, it'll probably be 6 episodes. I think She-Hulk is. I don't remember. I don't know how much these are. Oh no, I think
They're
I
all
heard
6
Ms. Marvel's
episodes.
gonna be 8.
I would be shocked because literally their entire it's literally become a meme that people laugh at every time there's a Disney Plus announcement. It's just like a 6 episode event. Like it's become like comedy at this point. So I don't think any of these are 8 episodes.
I haven't watched that Andor trailer yet. Is that also a 6
I also
episode
didn't
event?
watch it yet.
It's a 6 episode event. I was going to bring that up. Breaking news 6 weeks in the past, Andor trailer came out. I don't know what to make of it. I will tell you this. I like the vibe. It's very dark, and I don't think that they're going to be making just random jokes in that show based on just the vibe it gives off.
All right.
I think we're going to get the closest we have gotten to war crimes since Dave Filoni's Rebels and Clone Wars in that, based on what I'm seeing. And 2, apparently Palpatine did not throw all of the Senate because it's in that trailer. That show is going to have a lot more Mon Mothma than I think any of us expected.
I couldn't.
Okay, that sounds cool because we'll probably get some like political intrigue there.
It seems like it's going to be a lot of political intrigue.
I couldn't care less about this show. If I'm being
I'm
honest.
not going to watch it because I
Like-
do a Star Wars podcast.
Until I'm given a reason to check it out, like I hear fucking I don't know, Kyle Katarn pops up in it or something, I have no reason to watch the show.
Chris, as someone who would love that as well, I need to break it to you as a fellow
No,
Kyle
I
Katarn
know it's
lover.
not going to happen.
It's
I'm just saying
never
that's
gonna
what I
happen.
would need. That's what I would need to read on Twitter in the morning to get me to
That's
watch this
what
fucking
would get
show.
you
You know,
invested.
yeah, that's what
immediately.
that's the only
I-
thing that would get me to actually tune into this. I don't fucking care about this show.
I would rather watch Andor than Obi-Wan at this point.
Wow.
Because it's different.
That's,
man.
But you were super hyped when you saw Obi-Wan first. You were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, but it was because of John Williams, not because of Obi-Wan.
Wow. Our
There's-
Lord and Savior, Space Jesus, that sexy looking
Listen.
motherfucker.
I love Ewan McGregor. I just, like, God, I'm happy for him. And if I didn't, spoiler, we're going to do an episode on Obi-Wan. I believe we've talked about this before.
Which
When
I mean,
it's all-
as of time of recording, Obi-Wan comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to do an episode when it all wraps up. So this might actually be out around that time. We've already agreed that we're doing that. Chris is confused at this.
A bunch of stuff is being announced about Star Wars today. Apparently, some new show called Skeleton Crew with Jude Law.
I don't know who Jude Law is.
How do you not know who
Ben doesn't watch movies. How is
Ben
he
doesn't watch
Law?
movies? Oh, God.
Harrison Ford was at Star Wars Celebration today.
Whoa, who paid him $1 million to be
Oh,
in
that's
there?
why all this stuff's coming out. Star Wars Celebration was today. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess emergency episode
Ian-
live 6 weeks in the past.
Ian McDermott was asked on whether he's going to appear in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and his answer was, quote, "That is a disgraceful question, one I have no intention of answering." Oh,
Wow.
incredible.
I don't know what's going on, and I feel like in order to figure out what's going on, I would have to open too many tabs while we're recording.
Skeleton Crew is going to feature a group of 10-year-old kids from a small planet who get lost in that galaxy far, far away and must find their way home. It takes place after Return of the Jedi, just like everything that Disney's
Everything
producing
happens.
right now.
Except the Bad Batch.
And Obi-Wan.
By necessity. I don't know. That sounds fine. It's not going to be made for us, and that's okay.
I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Mandalorian and Ahsoka are both going to be 2023, apparently.
Everything's going to be 2023. Skeleton Crew is going to be 2023.
Yeah, they've kind of been not announcing like major things unless it's like a year and a half, 2 years out.
Well, they did that was it 2 years ago, last year, where they announced like all that. That's when they announced Rogue Squadron. That's when they announced Ahsoka, and then everyone was like, "Cool, I'm excited," and then just everyone just waited, and all the hype died.
But yeah, we're gonna do a show on Obi-Wan when it's all wrapped up, and I'm starting to look at it as work now. Like, I have to watch these episodes, and it officially has triggered that part of my brain that's just like, oh god, more Star Wars.
See, I'm just sitting here like I'm gonna watch it anyway, so I don't really give a shit.
Well, it's a difference between you two and me. Whereas you two have been able to separate Star Wars the movies from Star Wars other content. I have not, and I don't want to do this, but also Ewan McGregor is there, and I watch anything Ewan McGregor is in, even the bad Beauty and the Beast movie. So that's where we're at.
That's right. I was looking for who the fuck Jude Law is. Oh, he was the dude who was the bad guy in Captain Marvel.
I got even less read. That is how I could have gotten you to fucking. Yeah.
Oh, he's like young Dumbledore in fucking shithead.
No, stop. No,
universe.
stop. We will not sit here and say, oh, I remember Jude Law. He's in the bad franchise movie.
I called it Shithead's universe.
But I will not disrespect Jude Law in such a way. Anyway.
It's not disrespect. It happened.
It happened, but that is not how his career will be
Jude Law by pointing out the roles he accepted.
He will not be.
How dare you point out this thing I did recently?
So
how dare you point out this thing I got paid millions of dollars to do?
This role that I probably should not have taken. To wrap it up, I have a question, and we'll end the episode on that before we get lost down more Star Wars Celebration announcements. You probably don't.
I do.
You have an opinion.
Nah, I have an answer. May or may not also be an opinion.
So, do you think that Kylo Ren? This was briefly touched on in the last rotation. Do you think that Kylo Ren found out that Vader was Leia's dad before or after the rest of the galaxy found out through the Vader leaks?
I think beforehand, because Luke was convinced he was redeemed. And I'm sure they told him all about, Grandpa and how good of a guy he was.
How he sacrificed himself for Luke and everything.
But did they actually, though? Because this is not Luke that's raising him.
Pretty much.
It's not. He went to that temple at like 16. So there are 16 years of Kylo's life.
There's an easy way to figure this out. Chronologically, when does the rest of the galaxy find out how old is Kylo?
Kylo's like 26 in the sequels.
We have lore for that. No, I'm talking about in the book.
Because everyone found out before the sequels happened. Like that's
what I'm saying.
Well, I realize that, but
that's what I'm saying. We probably have an actual answer to this. Is what I'm saying. Like depending on how old he is by the time, or if he's even born yet,
he would have definitely been born, without a doubt, 1,000%, because we're talking about lore that happened at least years after he was born, but a couple years before the sequels happen, because that's the event that drives Leia out of politics.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And
Like, I
that
don't know how
sends
old
her to the
Kylo was
Alliance.
during that.
That's my thing. Like, was that the thing that spurred him on to join the Jedi? Because I'm pretty sure he's like 26 come like the sequels. So did it happen in that 10 years when he was with Luke, or did it happen in those 16 years where he was raised pretty much single-mommedly by Leia? Because God knows Han wasn't
Jay's correct on this one. Growing up, Ben Solo
What's
was
that mean?
unaware of his Sith heritage as the
Fuck.
grandson of Darth Vader.
That's so
Only
weird.
his parents and uncle, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, knew the truth of Anakin Skywalker's past.
Wow.
That fucking rocks. That so
pisses
great.
me off. Luke and Leia, you fucking assholes.
That is such a shit thing to do to that kid.
God, man, they
fucking
really
hate your
tarnished the
family
legacy
history.
of our original trilogy heroes, huh?
Yeah. That's
And that
such
wasn't
a
even
dick
like
fucking move.
that. Some book writer was like, "I got a great idea. Let's kill all the goodwill that Leia Organa Solo ever fucking had in her entire life,
Where's
and
the
not."
of course it's from fucking Bloodline.
That's fucking amazing. Kylo Ren's character makes a million times more sense now.
It's true.
A billion times.
The fascination
that-
with Vader makes
yeah.
so much more sense after learning this, because it's like
That's
that
why
book-
I kept asking. I've asked this question before. I kept asking to see if there was a concrete answer.
Those books kind of almost make Kylo a more relatable character in the same way that the entirety of the Clone Wars series makes Anakin a far more understandable character in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
God, I'm mad at Luke and Leia now.
That's why I don't
Except-
give Anakin nearly as much shit anymore, because like the Clone Wars really made Anakin being an angry man so much like it makes it
did
make
a lot
so
of
much more sense.
It did a lot of legwork to connect the threads that were barely even there in the movies.
I think Kylo Ren is more forgivable than Anakin in this particular case when you're making the comparison, because at the end of the day, Clone Wars happened after he slaughtered a tribe of Tusken Raiders in genocide.
True.
So
Good point. Fair point.
I'm gonna use the word that I used so many times that I felt like jumping out a window last rotation during this recording. Objectively, I think that Kylo is more understandable in how he got there than Anakin, even with the Clone Wars.
So that's like during his fall, that's like he's just figuring, like he's just starting to like get. That makes the obsession make so much more sense.
Did he find out when he was at the temple with Luke, or did he find out?
I don't think
when he was
it
at home
told
with
me
Leia.
exactly where. Let me pull up the section of the article, because I just Control F searched the article. Organa decided to delay telling Solo the truth about Vader until he was older and her brother could explain that he had to return to the light side as Anakin Skywalker. However, Solo perceived that his family was keeping something from him.
God, what a fucked up.
Oh, and then Palpatine actually exploited that. His doubts of his family were encouraged by voices that communicated to him telepathically through his younger life.
I was gonna say, like, even in the small comic series I read forever ago to try to figure out who the fuck Snoke was, like, that's a lot of your family isn't telling you the whole truth was like a big part of what Snoke did to, which of course was Palpatine, because Palpatine was every voice you've ever heard. Do you remember that? Do you remember the guy at the theater who took your ticket? That was me.
So, he didn't find out until the galaxy at large did either.
There you go. I understand Kylo Ren so much more now. That would fuck me up too. I mean, we talked about Moon Knight in this episode. That's literally part of Moon Knight's origin story, and he became just a pure psychopath.
So
with other things, but
Kylo Ren didn't find out that he is the grandson of a genocidal authoritarian dictator
Yeah.
lunatic until the age of 23, until he was just a couple years younger than I am right
Holy
now.
Shit.
So he was legitimately at. Oh my God, Kylo Ren is such a better character now. He was legitimately at the Jedi Temple at that time, and Luke was like, "Oh no, he's starting to go to the dark, motherfucker!" Oh my God, I am so mad at every
year he
adult
turned
in the
20
entire OT now.
The year he turned 23, Solo was still in the care of his uncle as he traversed the path toward becoming a Jedi Knight. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the truth about the parentage of Solo's mother was revealed by Organa's political enemies in the New Republic Senate. Organa had yet to tell her son about Darth Vader. I don't feel like I could emphasize a single word in that sentence
Wow.
enough.
Well, I've been for a couple of rotations. I've been trying to bring this up because I thought like that's like a big determiner on Kylo Ren's personality. Like, no, yeah, that'll fuck you up.
To honor his sister's wishes, Luke also avoided to provide
There's too
Solo an
much
honest
dark in
account
him,
of
though.
Vader's redemption.
There's too much dark in him, though. Luke saw too much dark in him.
Oh, this sentence is rich. Just as Organa expected, upon becoming aware of the truth, upon becoming aware of the truth across the HoloNet, Solo was shocked. Like, no fucking shit.
I wonder if
bet
all
he
the
was.
I wonder if all the Reylo shippers have known this the entire time, and that's why they're so forgiving of him. Because I legitimately like.
I wouldn't go so far as to forgive, but like,
No, like this is like
it makes everything a lot more sensical.
this is like the most like in terms of villains, this is the most fleshed out villain in the history of Star Wars like movies.
The only comment I have here to like actually detract from it is like I wish we could have seen any of this. Like,
Yeah.
if this was in the movies, I would have a lot fewer complaints, which I get.
If this was
Run
if this,
times and whatever.
if this was in the movies, you never would have gotten like this. Might have been the straw that broke the OT fans' backs because
Also-
literally, because I
Yeah,
literally had a
yeah.
note for this episode that didn't come up. If they knew that Rey was a Palpatine, how? Well, it turns out they've been keeping fucking secrets from everybody in the goddamn galaxy. Yo,
That's
the
the
OT
thing, I
fucking
mean,
characters suck.
Yeah.
That really just paints Leia as like, well, I mean, a true politician. You know, all these horrible
Yeah.
secrets that she just refuses to tell the people. You know.
Leia, tell your fucking son the truth.
God.
Because that was, if I'm not mistaken, a big part of Leia's character in the original EU was like when all this kind of stuff would come up politically, she's like, yeah, my father was Darth Vader, so the fuck
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, she didn't give a shit. Well, she gave a shit, but she like didn't like give any gruff. She was just like, yeah, this is who I am. Like,
She was an honest politician. That's why
Exactly.
she did so well. Because like literally there were multiple plot points where Leia would get annoyed with like even her friends Mothma and Akbar because she would be like all in the camp of like, no, we tell the people the truth. I'm not gonna lie to people, and they would be like, I'm in a position, and they're like, fuck you. The position has corrupted you then. Because I think Akbar retired in disgrace because he committed a war crime, if I remember correctly. I don't remember what it was specifically, but he did like retire in disgrace.
That sounds right.
Like I don't remember what specifically happened, but he did retire in disgrace. But anyway, this has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. We love you all. We'll leave on the idea of if Akbar committed a war crime in the EU, and then say goodnight. Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.